All right, welcome back. I want to continue the discussion of topic selection and moving it towards a thesis statement. And to do so, I'm going to talk about the upcoming assignment and I'm going to give you some examples of unacceptable and acceptable thesis statements. Just like last time, you're going to have to submit your topic and your thesis statement for a grade. I'm asking for those two things. And read this assignment page in full. I'm not going to read it word for word right now. But remember, we're going to go through a process of revisions potentially. So if your thesis statement that you submit, whenever you submit it, if that's given points by me, that means I've signed on to it. You can rewrite it and adjust it, especially to make it more specific, more narrow, more focused. You can rewrite it and you can run that past me later on if you want. I will regrade the thesis statement when I hear your speech for speech number 2. But as long as I give you points, you're fine. You can move on. If I don't give you points, I'm asking you to do a revision. I've left you a comment in the comment section of that thesis assignment submission page. And I want you to leave the original submission in place and to submit a revision as a reply to the comments. Use the comments section. If you do that, then I'll be notified that you've made a comment and I'll be able to track the changes along the way. If you take down your original submission and put up a new one, it will likely mark your submission late and it won't even tell me about it. So please use the comments section. Remember, this is what you're going to be turning in, something that looks like that. All right. Read these tips. I just want to focus in particular on this tip right here. It's best for these informative speeches if your thesis is a claim of fact rather than a claim of value or a claim of policy. And that has to do with the purpose, right? We're trying to share good information with our audience. So we really want to kind of stick in the realm of facts here. Here's an example of the difference between these things. Smoking causes cancer. That's a claim of fact because it's either true or it's not true. I'm going to need to give some evidence and cite my sources, but all I'm saying is here's some good information. This thing is true. All right? And that's good for this speech. If you're moving into a claim of value, it's going to sound something like this. Smoking is bad, or this is the best place in the world. Right? That's a matter of judgment, a matter of opinion. You can make an argument about that. You can supply evidence for it, but that's not the goal of this speech. And then finally, a claim of policy is where you are telling the audience they should do something. You're moving from a declarative statement about the truth to a what's called an imperative statement. You must do this. You're telling someone to do something. You should not smoke. That's a persuasive speech, and let's save that for the persuasive speeches. So stick to objective statements that are either true or false about your topic, and you should be able, of course, to back those up, and that's what you'll do in the bodies of your speeches. Remember that your thesis statement is the main idea. The rest of the speech is all about supporting that main idea. Read the rest of these tips here. If you had trouble with run-on sentences or you think you might, I put a video here about comma splices. Some of you had those last time, so it would be nice if we could avoid those. I want to spend the rest of this video showing you different examples and discussing those examples. These are based on examples these are based on previous student speeches and work. Here's an example of what a student turned in. Topic: nuclear testing at the Nevada test site. Okay, that seems clear enough to me. The thesis statement: nuclear testing was conducted at the Nevada test site, comma, these tests were very important to the United States with its advances in nuclear warfare. So right off the bat, I noticed that it's a clear idea, more or less. I know where they're going. They're talking about advances in nuclear warfare that were developed at this particular place. That's something. It does have a comma splice, though, here, a type of run-on sentence. This is really two sentences here. Nuclear testing was conducted at the Nevada test site, period, capital letters. These tests were very important to the United States. You would need to put a coordinating conjunction and. If you don't know what that is, watch that video because it explains these things. But I have other issues with this as well, in addition to the comma splice. One is that it's using kind of redundant language, nuclear, testing, test site. Do you need to mention that testing is done at the test site? I don't know. It's pretty clear to me when you just say it's a test site. Also, it's somewhat vague after all these words. It doesn't really tell us a whole lot. I just know that there's advances in nuclear warfare, right? It leaves me wondering what those advances are, and it takes up a whole lot of space not discussing what those advances are. So I think a better thing would be for this student to focus in on these advances. And so here is a revised version. The Nevada test site advanced U.S. nuclear technology with tests on the use of atomic weapons and the effects they have on their targets. So I've repeated the words tests twice, but notice I didn't repeat nuclear. I switched it to atomic. I don't really mention the idea of nuclear 3 times like I did last time. Also, I got really specific. What are the tests? Well, there are tests on the use of the weapons and tests on the targets. What happens to the stuff that you're blowing up? So that's more specific. How did it advance? It advanced them in 2 main areas, right? Here's another submission. Starts off with the topic. Who made Las Vegas? Okay, that's provocative. Ooh, who made Las Vegas? I don't know. The idea that one person made it sounds pretty fishy to me off the bat. So this sounds like it's going to be about a lot of people. But okay. Thesis. Have you ever wondered how the big casinos of Las Vegas became so powerful? I guess I haven't, but maybe I have. Why do they have so much drive on our economy? Well, I kind of know that. Who were the individuals that came to Nevada with the big gambling mindset? Okay, some obvious problems right off the start, of course. This is 3 sentences. I want one. So I'm going to just, I almost just want to stop here and just tell you, give me one sentence, please. One sentence for your thesis statement. So in addition to these being multiple sentences, they're all questions, and I do not want questions for thesis statements. Answer the question, and you have a thesis statement. But just asking the question, you know what that is? That's an attention getter. So this might be, you just turned in, or this student probably just turned in their attention getter and didn't give me a thesis statement at all. Also, notice that these are basically 3 different topics, right? How did the big casinos become powerful? So how did they evolve over time to be powerful? Okay, that's one topic. Why do they have so much drive on our economy? Why are they powerful? What are the factors of their power? That's just kind of a different question. And then who are the individuals who, I don't even know what a big gambling mindset is necessarily. So I assume they mean who are the people who laid the foundations for the gambling industry? Those are 3 different topics. So a lot of problems here. Let's say I gave them all that feedback and they came back to me with this. Much better, right? How Lansky and Siegel helped make Las Vegas. Not who are the many million people who made Las Vegas, but here's 2 people, right? Much better. And thesis statement, Las Vegas evolved into a resort city it is today, in part because mobster Mayor Lansky recruited Bugsy Siegel to open the Flamingo Resort. That's good, right? Maybe you can make that a little more concise, but it gets a lot into pretty economical use of words there. A lot of ideas there, right? We have a mobster recruiting another person to open a casino, and we're saying that that's the model of the resort city that we see today, right? Okay, that's a clear idea. It's a clear event, right? A particular moment in time, the recruitment of this person to do this opening, right? Very specific. Nice. Topic, Raiders Stadium. Thesis, today I will tell you about who paid for the Raiders Stadium and how they paid for it. Okay. I'm not against this idea. The topic seems to fit with, the speech, right? And there seems to be a clear enough idea. They want to talk about how the stadium is funded. If I just saw the topic and it was Raiders Stadium, I would say get more specific. But really the topic is funding Raiders Stadium. And but the problem is it's basically an announcement of the topic. This is not a thesis statement at all. It's not an idea really at all. It's an announcement of what you intend to do. Today I will tell you about who paid for the Raiders Stadium and how they paid for it. I personally don't like this because it basically acts like a question does, right? There's an unanswered part. Who paid for it? How did they pay for it? I don't know. You might as well just ask the question and not answered it. In our thesis statements, I really want you to just answer these things. Be clear as possible. Tell us the answer. Don't make us wait. This isn't a teaser or a preview statement. This is the main idea itself. Okay, so flip it around and tell me that information, and that will be a better submission. So that's what they did. How Raiders Stadium was funded. Good, nice, clear topic. The Raiders organization and the public split the cost of Allegiant Stadium with money from loans, special taxes, and government-issued bonds. Wow, that's nice, right? Lots of key information. Who paid for it? Two different entities, the Raiders and the public. And how did they pay for it? 3 different ways: loans, special taxes, and government-issued bonds. That's a clear idea expressed in a declarative sentence. That's not a delayed main idea like the announcement was. Topic, Tesla's Gigafactory. I can just look at this right away and see, well, okay, a lot of words, right? So that's alarm bells. If yours is this big, right, you want to cut it down most likely. Let's take a look though. Tesla's new battery gigafactory will reduce the price of its electric cars, and it's got a comma and a coordinating conjunction, so that works. It's still the same sentence. And since Nevada is growing in population, electric vehicles are a great way to cut down pollution, reduce the smog in our air, and help us become healthier people, because the quality of our air determines how healthy we may become. Okay. I suspect that may even be technically, grammatically correct. I'd have to ask an English professor to help me out with this, quite honestly. But as a teacher of oral communication, I know right away this is just too much. It's hard to say, it's hard to read, it's hard to remember. It's a jumbled mess. It has kind of redundant ideas sprinkled throughout, and it really kind of hides the topic. Right? It's about Tesla's Gigafactory, but it's more specific than that. It's about the benefits of Tesla's Gigafactory, and that's almost not even clear from this. So I'm going to try to simplify this, and I'm going to try to reduce the redundant ideas, and I'm going to try to state this in a more concise, clear way. Benefits of Tesla's Gigafactory. Good. Tesla's new battery Gigafactory will reduce the price of its electric cars, cut down on pollution, and ultimately improve our health, right? So this new Gigafactory is going to have these 3 benefits, all right? Boom. Very clear, very, very easy for me to track. I already see the whole shape of this speech. It makes Elon Musk happy. Okay. The causes and effects of housing insecurity. Housing insecurity has many causes and results in a variety of harm to those who experience it. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily name the causes right here. It doesn't name the types of harm that's done. So I might say if you can do that in a concise way, that would be one way to improve this. But it does break down the main idea into 2 sub-ideas, the causes and the effects. I already see the shape of the speech. It is a complete, focused idea. Topic, Elvis Presley's impact on Las Vegas culture. Thesis, the legacy of Elvis Presley is still present in Las Vegas's vintage style and rockabilly scene. Yeah, that works, right? Very clear idea. It's linking Elvis Presley to two contemporary things, the vintage Las Vegas style and the rockabilly scene, which is actually, if you haven't seen it, is pretty kind of active here in Las Vegas with the pinup girls and the rockabilly dudes and the vintage 1950s homes. Okay, enough about that. Next one. Las Vegas, the ninth island. Ooh, I like it already. Thesis statement. Hawaiians were attracted by the cost of living, job opportunities, and the love of gaming. So many permanently moved to Las Vegas, giving it the nickname the ninth island of Hawaii. Pretty good, right? Very clear ideas. I see the main points of the speech: cost of living, job opportunities, love of gambling. And so, yeah, I see it. It's a whole idea. Is it stated in the most, eloquent or concise way? Maybe it's a little clunky. I don't know how this person talks, right? So when you rehearse this, you want to rehearse and you want to edit with your mouth, right? So edit what you're saying based on how your mouth wants to say these things. All right, so I hope this discussion of thesis statements was helpful for you. Let's keep moving forward on speech number 2. Oh, that's not where I stopped the video. That's where I stopped the video.